All right. Thanks for joining me. Listen, the ultimate goal, we're talking about extracting maximum cash from your email list, right? The ultimate goal of this video series, and in particular this video that you're watching right now, is to show you ways that you can get the absolute most money from your list. Because, listen, not all list techniques are created equal. Just because you got a list of 20,000 subscribers does not mean that that's going to be filled with money for you. Because let me tell you a little story before we jump into the training here. I've done a lot of product launches, a whole lot. I've worked with various big name internet marketers, and in particular I have had my own launches where I get some JVs on board, for example. And just to tell on myself, this happens to me too, so it's not just them. Okay, but I'll have people that have a list of maybe 50,000 subscribers, and they'll promote a product for me, and they'll get maybe 300 hops, 300 clicks, and make a few sales. And then I'll have maybe a JV that has 10 or 20,000 subscribers, and they'll get like 1,000-2,000 hops and make hundreds of sales. Why is that? It's because of the way that we cultivate our lists. And the same things happen to me, right? I've sent out emails in the past where I would send out one email maybe to a couple thousand people and get hundreds of clicks, whereas I might send out a list to a couple thousand people and get 100 clicks. What's the reason for that? That's what we want to divulge to you in this training. Is there are things that I have learned over the years, things that other marketers have learned to increase the amount of response that we get from our list. And that's really what it's all about, is cultivating your list and getting a better response. Whether that is increasing your open rate, which is how many people, if you send out an email to 10,000 people and 5% of them open the email, that's pretty pathetic, right? When I send out an email, I hope to at least get 50-60% of the people actually open it. And of course, you can attain those numbers. I'm going to show you how with this series. The open rate is one thing to take into account. The action rate, how many people actually do what it is that you asked them to do in the email. Click a link and check something out. Reads, getting people to actually read the email, and of course that leads to the amount of people that take action. So what I've done is I've divided this video up into several different sections. How to increase your writing the actual email, how to make that be just exactly the best that it can be, what kind of things to put into your content, how to manage your campaign, that kind of stuff. So let's go ahead and jump right into cater your writing. First off, know what your list wants. And before I get going here, let me tell you, this particular video that you're watching here is going to be just chock full of some tips and expertise and experience. So we're going to go through it fairly quickly. I've got a couple other videos in line for you as well, but this particular one right here, we're just going to hit topics. I'm going to tell you about them and why you need to do them. So know what your list wants. When was the last time you actually asked your list, what would you like? I mean, it's actually like common sense, right? To know what they want. How do you know what they want? By asking them for it. Set up a campaign. I totally suggest you do this immediately. Set up a campaign with the whole purpose being to find out exactly what your subscribers are looking for. Are they looking for tips to get traffic? If they are, if you're in the internet marketing niche and your subscribers are looking for ways that they can get traffic, what do you need to do? You need to find products, or you need to develop products, or you need to develop some, put together some free webinars or something where you talk about getting free traffic. Because if you give them what they want, I mean, they're basically making you a list of things that they're willing to buy. If you send out an email right now and say, hey, I really want to know what you're interested in, what you need help with, please help me out, fill out this survey that I've got going. If they take the time to actually do that, They're basically saying to you, hey, if you show me a product that's on this, I'm going to buy it from you. I mean, it's that simple. Write like you speak. One tactic for this, it's kind of hard for people. They tend to flip-flop and change like into some kind of editor or publisher when they write an email. The most effective emails that you can write will be ones that sound like they're really coming from you sitting down one-on-one with an individual. So a tactic for doing this is after you have outlined everything that you really want to convey to the individual and you have learned the tactics of what to include in your email, formulate that in such a way where you just basically sit down, and it's best if you can grab yourself a microphone and do a little recording. Write like you're talking to one person and then record your email. What would you say to them? And then you basically want to listen back to that and write that just like you talk. So write like you speak and write to one individual. Don't write to a group of people. Yeah, you're going to send this out to 10, 15, 20,000 people, but one person at a time is actually going to read your email, and this email needs to touch that one person. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you some things to include in your email. Get those in mind, kind of write them down as an outline, and then talk, just like you would one-on-one with an individual. One of the first things you want to do in your email is tell them who you are. Do this in the very first paragraph. You might say, hey, this is Jeremy Burns, and I want to talk to you about whatever. Okay, so tell them who you are. Right? This alone will increase conversion rates because they more than likely get a lot of email from a lot of different people. And especially if they're in a pretty highly competitive niche, they probably get, emails from several marketers that are in that niche. So what you need to do is after you have cultivated your list, like I'm going to share with you in this video, you're going to get a much greater response if you tell them right away who you are. If they see in the email, oh, this is so-and-so. I like his stuff, so I'm going to pay attention. That increases your read rate, which, of course, increases your action rate. Tell them the benefit of what it is that you got going in that email. Tell them right away, immediately after you tell them who you are. The way that you do this is, I'm going to touch a little bit more about the content in the next slide, but it's basically giving them a preview. Tell them what it is that you're going to do for them immediately. That's very important so that they see that, you kind of want to weed out the people that won't be interested anyway, but you want to make sure that you grab the people that would be interested. If they have sent out to you, if they responded to your survey and said, hey, I need some training on getting free organic traffic, then you're going to say, hey, this is Jeremy Burns, and I want to show you how to get loads of organic traffic absolutely free. So you tell them the benefit right away, tell them who you are. Then you want to close with a personal message. One of my favorite tactics to put in an email, and this is very powerful, folks, is before you're getting ready to close, you've delivered what it is that you want them to do, and they've got the call to action and all of that. You need to put right in there, not just to your success, blah, 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 Jeremy. No, you want to put a personal message like, hey, I'd really like to make sure this works out for you. So if you've got any questions or if you run into some kind of problem, make sure you send me an email and I'll see if I can help you out. Regards, Jeremy Burns. And they put your email address right there where they can actually get a hold of you. You know what this does? It's not that you're going to get like a flood of emails now just because you put that in there. But what it does is psychologically it tells them, hey, this individual is personally interested in helping me out, helping me to be a success, whether that success is losing weight, building muscle, repairing my credit, or buying a house, getting into real estate, doesn't matter what it is. They're actually interested in helping me, So I'm going to listen to what they say. And if they recommend that I should, click on this link and check this opportunity out, then I'm going to do it. So it's just, it's something that you're adding in there to give it, again, that personal touch, like I actually care. And when we start out with that personal touch and throughout the email, it's got that, when you're writing to one individual and they feel that, they sense that, it increases your response dramatically. Content tips. Touched on this just a moment ago. Quickly give them a preview. You need to share with them what it is that you're promoting, how it's going to benefit them. And they need to see that right away. That way, if you jump into some big, long story, that doesn't, it's not going to so much catch them as so much as if you would to tell them, here's the result of what I'm going to, what this is all about. Let me illustrate that for you. If I'm into After Effects and Photoshop and all these things that have to do with creating some pretty dazzling, killer-looking content, and one of the things that catches my attention is when a tutorial that I watch online, or maybe I buy a lot of training, and as a matter of fact, I bought one on After Effects just last week. And I got it, and they'd use, the reason that it caught my eye and that I bought from them is because they use this very tactic. Their tutorials do not start out with, hey, we're going to make some really killer text, and the first thing you need to do is push this button. They don't do that, okay? And then you got to wait till the end. When I see tutorials online that do that, where they start out right away in the tutorial, and then you go through, and then you get to the end of the tutorial, and then there's the finished result. It's like when I see a tutorial like that and it starts out step by step, and it doesn't interest me. I move on. It's like I want to see up front, what is this tutorial going to teach me how to do? So this tutorial series actually that I bought online, that's the way that they do it. In their tutorials, they're like, and it's on After Effects, so it takes a long time to build up this project, right? So what they do is they show you right at the beginning, hey, here's what we're going to make, and they push the play button, and they let you see how dazzling it is. And that hits you, right? It relates to you. You're like, hey, I can make that? And that hooks you. You're like, okay, I want this, because it's going to they show you right up front, here's what we're going to show you make. Same kind of thing holds true for your marketing. You want to show them, look what I'm going to do for you. You have to sell the dream. And that of itself is going to make people read the emails more. So if you can relate to them, here is the benefit. I'm going to give you kind of like right in the first paragraph, right after I tell you who I am, I'm going to show you what I'm going to do for you, and then they're going to continue to read. Use several links in your emails. This is contingent on the size of the email, obviously, okay? But minimum, really, you want 2 in there. And it's the same link. That I want to stress that. The same link to the same thing, not several different links, which I'll mention that later on. But you definitely want to give them multiple opportunities to go to your offer, whatever that offer is. If it's a longer email, then you'll think about, 3 or 4 links in the email. You got to be careful because you don't want to, have any deliverability issues. And if you've got like a high spam score, which is another thing we'll talk about later, that's going to, one of the things that triggers that is a bunch of links, a whole bunch. But if it's a pretty long email, having 3 or 4 links in there is okay because there's a lot of content along with it. One of the things for your content, one of the things that you can do that will excite people is to do an interview. With this, you find, let's say you're going to promote a product. You've got 10,000 people on your list, and they're all interested in this specific niche. So you're looking for a new product to promote. Instead of just sending out a blast that says, hey, come check out this site and buy it. Instead of doing that, you're going to take a little bit of care and planning by contacting the creator of that product. See if you can get them to do an interview with you, just maybe on the phone. Email is okay, but it's better if you can do it over the phone and record it. And then what you do in your email, instead of just blasting them and say, hey, check this out, you tell them, I've got an exclusive interview with Jeremy Burns, and we're going to talk about private label rights. And then you give them a link to a page where they can go and they can listen to it. And of course, right on that page, you can have an opt-in box, and you can also have a link where they can go ahead and make the purchase with your affiliate link, of course. All right. Now, that is extremely powerful, especially if you can incorporate video. Like one thing that you can do, and you don't even have to have an audience for this, right? But you can go to GoToMeeting or GoToWebinar, something like that, and you can do a PowerPoint presentation, or you don't have to get all big and complicated. Your PowerPoint presentation can consist of simply a screen with a picture of the product and a picture of the person that you're interviewing, and maybe your picture, and a website where you want them to go to. That can be displayed the whole time. But you record, the main part is that you're recording the audio and you're interviewing this person. And then when they click the link, you can say, hey, I got this, a video, I did an interview, whatever. And they click it, they come to the page, there's a play button, they click that, and the interview starts. The screen does not have to change. It's just a nice shot of the product and a couple pictures, you and the person that you're interviewing, and a site, maybe an address there. Well, they listen to the interview. Right there on the page, you've got a button where they can click and make a purchase. Conversions are crazy with something like that because it's totally convenient. You're going to get a lot of response and a lot of traffic. Do your own thing. If you're going to, let's say you're going to promote something, a lot of times these people have like cookie cutter emails that you can send out to your list. What I recommend, your list, they know how your writing style, right? They know if you wrote something. If you go sign up for some affiliate program and you grab one of those solo ads and you just paste it and send it out to your list, they'll detect that. They'll know that that was something that somebody else made and you're sending out because they know your style. And one of the biggest things that marketers can do nowadays to differentiate themselves is have that style. Very, very important. All the big name marketers do that. They have a specific style that they write as, and people know, hey, they wrote this. If they just take somebody else's stuff and they paste it in there and blast it to their list, they know somebody else wrote this. This is not so-and-so. So do your own thing. Yes, you can take their email and use it kind of as a template. Use it more as something that's informative. Like read through it and see if there's anything that would tell you a little more about the system, the offer that you're promoting, and see if there's anything you can learn from it. But then sit down and do your own thing. That's, you're going to get a much better response if people see that it's actually from you. You only want one response. I cannot tell you how many times I get emails from people that I don't know what it is that they really want me to do. In the email, honestly, there'll be 3 or 4 options, and either it's just too confusing or I'm not, I don't got time to go through all of that kind of stuff. So what do I end up doing? I trash it. And that's what a lot of people do with it. The way that you make an email campaign effective is that when that one email goes out, you've written it to one individual, and you have one response in mind. When you sit down to create an email, think, what is the one thing that I want this individual to do? And you get one person in your mind. You sit down, you focus on, picture, if you will, the perfect customer, your perfect subscriber, and think in your mind, have them before you in your mind. Close your eyes if you have to, if it helps. Have them before you and think, this is the person that I'm writing to. What is the one thing that I want them to do right now? I'm not going to send them a list, an email message that says, watch this YouTube video and click here to find out more information about XYZ that I've got. And I've also got a buddy that is he's got a new product out. It's pretty hot. You want to check that out. That's ridiculous. You're not going to send out an email like that. What kind of response are you going to get? Have one thing in mind that you want them to do, and that's the whole focus of that email. If that is to register for a webinar, that's all you're going to talk about. If it's to watch a free video that you made, that's all you're going to talk about. None of this hit and miss kind of shotgun. They call it shotgun preaching, and it doesn't work. You just try to hit everything. It doesn't work. Campaign management. Create micro lists. This is where I subdivide my lists. So I might have a general, let's say internet marketing. I've got a general internet marketing list. I will also have a traffic list. You might even do pay-per-click traffic. You could do free traffic, SEO kind of traffic. You could do banner ad traffic. You could divide that up so that what you do is to your main list, you might send out, hey, I've got something I want to talk to you about with pay-per-click traffic. You send them to a landing page first off, and that's going to be, I think I mentioned that later. You know what? Just in case I don't, let me talk about it right now. When you are, as a matter of fact, this is probably the best time to talk about it because this is when you're going to use it the most. But when you send out an email to start promoting something a little bit new, maybe something different, it's a good idea to send them to a landing page. And that landing page is nothing more than just telling them a little bit more about what you've got going on and give them an opportunity to opt in. So they're on your main list, but then they come to this landing page that is for pay-per-click traffic. They're going to fill out their name and email address. You're going to give them something else, offer them something. And that's going to put them on a secondary micro list. Like you already know that this person is now interested in pay-per-click traffic. So you've got your general list in internet marketing, and you've subdivided it now into a micro list, and you've got people that are interested in pay-per-click traffic, people that are interested in banner ads, people that are interested in private label rights products. You've got everything divided up and as laser focused as you possibly can. Use a swipe file or swipe folder, you might call it. This is simply where you see something that is good and you put it in there for reference. So maybe you get an email from somebody and you're like, the subject of that email really caught my eye. You put it in your swipe file or a folder. You can have a folder in your email client, whether you use Gmail or Outlook or something. You create a little folder there that you can call it swipe file, you can call it great emails, whatever you want to call it. But the purpose of it is that whenever you see something great, something that's effective and powerful, I saw this subject and I read it and the first paragraph really caught my attention, you put that in there for the purpose of studying it, figuring out what made it so special, what grabbed your attention, and then you incorporate those techniques into your own marketing campaign. Mail regularly. That does not mean mail every day. Definitely you don't want to, because you can overkill your list and then they'll get sick and tired of you. But you find out a regularity that they can tolerate and you need to stick to it. Maybe it's once a week. Maybe it's once every 2 weeks. I recommend definitely minimum once every 2 weeks. But they need to have regular communications from you. Otherwise, they're going to opt in today. They don't hear from you in a month. They're going to forget even that they even did it, and they're going to flag you as spam, and they won't get any more of your emails ever again, and that's a fact. They need to have consistent communication with you to be reminded that you're there and that you're trying to help them and that you have stuff to offer. So that they will be a little bit more attentive to your future mailings, actually. Subscribe to your competitor. Go so far as to even buy stuff from them and see what their follow-up response is. You're doing this to learn. This is actually, if you find a great marketer in your niche, and you can go to their whatever opt-in form they've got and subscribe, you basically just now signed up for a free email marketing campaign course, because now you're going to see how they've done it, and they're successful in the niche. Because that's one of the things. The reason that I tell you to do it to your competitor is because different niches, different things work in different niches. So what might work in the diet niche might not necessarily work in the credit repair niche. A lot of times people in the diet niche, they want instant results, and they might tolerate an email every single day trying to give them some new tip on losing weight. People in credit repair, they realize, that it's going to take a while to get through this, and it's going to be a process. So they might want to hear from you every week with something that they can do, and then they have time to actually implement that. So different things work in different niches. You want to find a successful competitor and opt into their list and see what they're doing, so you can mimic it, because that's one of the easiest ways to be successful, is to find somebody who is already successful, figure out what they do, and you do it too. Monitor trends. If there's something going on, if there is, like the Olympics right now, the Winter Olympics are going on, you have an opportunity to increase sales and make more money, make like extra money, if you pay attention to trends or events that are occurring right now and figure out a way to monetize off of those. If there's something that's coming up, you can launch a campaign. Let's say that, as marketers, if you keep an eye out on what's going on, that will allow you to be more successful in your marketing. So let's say that the Super Bowl is coming up. Well, as a marketer, what you're going to try to do is then create some blogs that are catered around the keywords that people are going to be searching for during that time, and you're going to promote those. You're going to write articles that will point back to those blogs, and as the search engines grab hold of that, they're going to find that as relative content, and there's going to be a surge of searches for that, and that's going to definitely help out your site. You do the same kind of thing with your email marketing. If there's something going on, you touch on that. So if, a perfect example, one that a lot of marketers use because it's so totally successful, when the 9/11 thing happened in the, at the World Trade Center, the Twin Towers, there was a big deal about, having survival equipment and stuff like that. Lots of new sites even came up, and lots of people made a bunch of money off of pushing that kind of stuff because they knew that's what people were interested in. Any kind of thing like that happens is going to give you an opportunity to make a whole bunch of extra money. And I'm not saying take advantage of people, but you take advantage of what is happening in the world at that particular time. You're actually helping people out in a sense, because if something's going on that, like with the Super Bowl or the Winter Olympics or, a disaster or something like that, even if they're going to be looking for something because they need help, then you might as well be providing that to your email list if they're already interested in it, right? So in other words, you wouldn't, if you have a list of 20,000 internet marketers and, something happens bad, that's like there's a hurricane or something and there's devastation, whatever, you're not going to send them a list to where they can get water purification or whatever, right? Not related. But if you're in that niche and the event fits in with that, definitely, you take advantage of that opportunity. Low-scale testing before large-scale mailings. If you have a plan to buy traffic, let's say your goal is to send out 100,000 emails, and you're going to go to different sources and either rent lists or pay for some traffic or do some JV swaps with somebody, whatever. Wouldn't you rather have the ultimate peaked, totally tweaked email that is going to be sent out as opposed to just throwing one together and send it out? I mean, yeah, because just a little difference of a headline or, something in the email makes a big difference in the response. And if we're talking 1 or 2% difference, I mean, that's by the time you hit the whole campaign, that's pretty important. So what you have to do is first do a small test. So if you can send out an email to 5,000 people and then do a little tweak and send out a different email, just change one thing, like change the subject line. Send that to another list of 5,000 people. Then you figure out which one gets the better response, and that's the one that you're going to use for your large-scale campaign, where you might, ultimately 100 or 200, 300,000 people, depending on what you got going on, how you're going to do it. But you want to get the most out of those people that you can, and you do that by testing the campaign itself. Getting results. Send them. Yeah, I figured I was going to talk about landing pages later, but I couldn't remember for sure. Send them to a landing page, and the landing page is just where you can share more information with them. You can also have a link for them to go to a product if you want. What I recommend is that you do create another list, right? So you send them there. Give them an opportunity to opt in so that they can find out more information about that specific product that you're promoting, whatever it is. And what's best on the landing page, if you can provide some kind of audio or a video or something that will engage them more. I am seeing more and more long-form sales pages. I'm not saying they don't work at all, but they're kind of going out. So if you can make the best thing that, in my opinion, you can do, and this is my experience, the best thing that you can do is make yourself a real simple PowerPoint presentation, get yourself a copy of Camtasia, get a nice microphone, do a simple little 5-10 minute presentation and record it with, doing PowerPoint and using Camtasia to record it. Send them to that landing page. They need to, this is all about the personality, right? And feeling very personal. They need to see and hear you on an intimate level. That is so powerful, folks. I can't tell you how powerful that is. If, your sincerity comes out in your voice, if you, granted, you could bomb it if you have no personality. So you got to be careful with it, right? You don't want to send them to a landing page that says, "Hi, my name is John, and I made $20,000 and last month it was great." You don't want to send them to something like that because they're not going to buy it. But if you send them to a landing page where you say, "Hi there, my name's John, and I want to show you how last month I pulled in $22,000 with a killer technique that absolutely blew my mind when I saw it." Okay, so they see that and they feel the sincerity, right? They hear it in your voice and they see the results on the page. They're much more prone to watch a little 5-10 minute video than they would to read, 15 pages of text. So it takes a little bit of extra effort, to make a nice video, but it's really not that hard. It's really not. I'd rather make a 5 or 10 minute video with the PowerPoint presentation than make a 15-20 page sales letter any day. Okay, and I'm not saying you don't want to have the sales page if you're promoting, maybe you created a product and or you got a private label rights product, whatever, and you want to make a sales page, fine. But what I'm seeing more and more trend, not only on the squeeze page, but on the sales page, right at the top, a link to watch the sales page instead of having to read it themselves. They can actually just see delivered to them. People are lazy, right? It's much more engaging for them to experience that video than to read the sales page. But bottom line here is on the landing page, give them something that gives them the opportunity to say, "Hey, I'm interested in this," and you do that with an opt-in form. Don't forget your customers. People who have purchased from you previously are much more likely to purchase from you in the future. And when I say purchase previously, that might mean 2 minutes ago. So here's an opportunity for you. You want to increase your revenue without hardly any extra effort and zero additional ad spend or any extra kind of monetary effort. Let me tell you the quick and easy way to do that. Whenever somebody does buy something from you, on the thank you page, give them the opportunity to buy something else. Maybe they can upgrade, or maybe there's something related in that niche. It could be an affiliate offer, something of yours, doesn't matter. Give them the opportunity. They're in the mood to buy. They just bought from you. They proved, hey, I trust you. I think what you gave me is going to be a good deal. This is kind of like an OTO, one-time offer, or an upsell. But do it on the thank you page. Hey, it can't hurt anything, right? Don't kill the winners. What does that mean? That means if you sign up for let's say, some type of list rental thing, or a newsletter mailing or something where you can pay and send out an email. They'll send it out on your behalf, right? Or you've got a JV partner that sends out an email for you. If that's working for you, then don't stop it. Don't let them, send out a list and then you move on to something else when that was successful. So in other words, if they do it and they mail out and they make you $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 off of that one mailing, try it again. Use the same source, same list, and see if you get any kind of response. It's not just like a one-off thing, like they send it out one time and that's all that you're going to get. You can't think, well, everybody who would have bought from me bought from that mailing. No, that's not the case. I mean, I can't even tell you. I can't even begin to tell you. I've got JV partners that send out to their list, make a few $1,000s, like that's their commission, just from sending out one email, and then they do it the next month. They send it out again. They make another few $1,000s in commission. Not to mention that I make a few $1,000s off of the sales. That's the way that it works. If it's working, just like with your own list, I know this, and I hope you know it too. If I have a list of 20,000 people and I send out something, I send out an opportunity or an affiliate link or something, I don't expect that everybody on the list that would purchase that actually does the first time around. I mean, it just doesn't work that way. You send it out, you get a response. If the response is pretty good, then you're going to send out the same thing again later on, because your chances are you're going to get another response. People are not always, ready and in the mood to buy. They're not always looking at that exact opportunity. You might catch them on a bad day. You might catch them when they're in a hurry. You might catch them when they don't have any money at that particular time. Lots of factors come into play. So if you send it out and it does work, definitely send it out again. Same list. What is your address? And here's what we're talking about. A big trend that I'm seeing online is not just the old name and email address thing anymore. It is physical address. Like, where would you receive mail? And this is like a twofold thing. Not only is it going to be beneficial to be able to market to the people by sending them something in the mail, and I'll talk about that in a second, but also they're demonstrating a much higher level of trust by giving you that type of information. Here's the best way to do that. Come up with something that has to be mailed, like physically mailed. That could be a free CD or DVD. It could be a free report, something that you've put together that's actually printed out and you're not offering it as a download. Tell them, I want to give you this free DVD on how I made $1 million in 1 year doing whatever, some kind of tactic. And say, I need your address to ship it. Okay? That's simple enough, makes sense, right? Got to have my address in order to ship me the DVD. Well, now what you can do is you've got their address, you're going to ship it out. It's money well invested because it's going to cost you maybe a couple of bucks to do that, to send that out. And spending that kind of money for a list of people that are willing to give you their physical address is like gold. I mean, definitely worth it. But here's what you get. Now, you send them the free offer. Now, instead of emailing them all the time about opportunities that you've got, how about sending them a postcard? And guess what? Direct mail has always been really big. I mean, it used to be like huge when there was no internet, right? And then as the internet matured, people started using that as a way to generate money and talk to people, definitely. But now, the reason that we're seeing this a lot is because how hard is it to guarantee deliverability of emails? Boy, it can be tough. People, they get so many emails. A lot of times they don't read stuff. And spam filters can just trash your email before they ever even get an opportunity to read it. All kinds of deliverability issues that, in fact, I've done a training specifically on deliverability because it can be tough. Well, I'm finding a lot of marketers more and more incorporating offline marketing strategies, the old school stuff that appeals to these people, and the deliverability is almost guaranteed. It's very rare that they don't actually get it. And it's one thing that happens with offline marketing that does not happen with email is that on occasion, so maybe somebody gets somebody else's mail. Well, big deal. I mean, at least you got it before somebody. There's an opportunity that they could act on it as well. How many times do you see to such and such or current resident? Right? Because it might be something that they're interested in as well, right? But with email, that doesn't happen. If it's the wrong address, then nobody gets it. It just bounces around in cyberspace until it just disintegrates. Well, with offline strategies, think about this for a minute. If you get a postcard from me, and it's a nice looking postcard, and it's on this thing that you specifically requested information about, how more likely are you to actually read that and take action on it? Much more, because it's not something that happens every day, right? Here's the kinds of mail that we get. We get general things like catalogs and stuff like that really, it appeals to anybody, so who cares? We get offers for unsolicited things like people wanting, you go buy a house. Next thing you know, you start getting all kinds of offers for insurance and to refinance. Not interested. You just get it out of the blue. Insurance offers, stuff like that. So you get a lot of this stuff that just everybody gets. What's going to happen if you open your mailbox and there's a postcard in there and you specifically have subscribed to this diet list because you're overweight and you need to get some help and you're trying to lose weight, and you get this postcard that says, hey, here's how I lost 25 pounds in 60 days and I can show you how to do it. It's like, hey, I mean, that's exactly what I've been looking for. And it came to my mailbox. It's catered to me. So it's something that's a little bit different, and people are much more responsive to it. Before you ever actually click the send button on your email campaign, check your spam score. This is a little side tip on deliverability. That is one thing that can increase the amount of response that you get because it increases the amount of successfully delivered emails, and it's real easy to do. If you use Aweber as your autoresponder, a lot of the other autoresponders do this as well, but with Aweber, it gives you a spam score. You create an email, and then when you get it ready and you save it, before it sends out, it shows you, here's your spam score. And if it is too high, it's going to throw up a flag and tell you, hey, you better make a change. And I've been able to do that myself where, anymore nowadays, it's very rare that I'll create a message that even looks like spam. But I have made a message, and in Aweber, after I save it, it'll show your spam score is like 2.1 or whatever like that. And all I got to do is go back in, do a few little tweaks and changes, save it, come back out. Oh, your spam score is 0.3, and it's perfectly fine. It's going to send out. You're not going to have to worry about deliverability issues. So that's one quick and easy way to increase your response rate is by increasing the successful delivery rate. So I hope that was helpful to you. I guarantee if you implement these strategies into your marketing campaign, you're going to start seeing more emails get opened. You're going to start seeing more actions being taken, and bottom line, more revenue. Let's move on to the next video.